If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today.
Logwork, the creators of the fantastic logbooks made with genuine write-in-the-rain paper. The logbook's designed for the micro-containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who'd rather go caching than doing cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
And sponsored by SmashingPennies.net. Get 10% off your order with code Geocache Talk Network. They are perfect to put in a geocache.
All right, guys. Hey, how's it going? Welcome. It's time for Puzzle Talk. This is the Geocaching Puzzle Podcast brought to you by the Geocache Talk Network. And we're your hosts, that guy, Tom Brotherman.
Yeah.
And me, Pathfinder 33. Welcome, everybody. We are glad to see you guys.
This is harder now. It's once a month. You got to remember.
I know.
Up is up and down is down, but left and right's backwards.
That's right. I got a point left, which then mirrors and points that way.
That's hard.
We're glad to see that everybody has survived the winter solstice, and we hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season. If you celebrated, if you didn't celebrate this holiday season, hey, that's okay. We still hope you had a good time, and hopefully you got off from work some, and whatnot. So, dun, 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 dun. Let's see. Let's look at the news here. The news is getting slim. There's no more GC9 fave, so we hope we hope that you were around for GC9 fave. If you were, that's awesome. If you missed it, we'll see if HQ does another one. Maybe not this year, maybe next year. We'll just see how it all pans out, and whatnot. So, Puzzle Academy is going to return at the next Cache Fest, which is going to be held in Oklahoma. If you are looking for a mega event to attend, the Cache Fest Mega in Oklahoma is going to be a good one. So, go ahead and look that up. It's GCAB90Z. And if you're in the neighborhood, hey, we'd love for you to stop by, enjoy what we got going on.
There's one or two puzzle caches up there.
There are a couple of pretty decent puzzle caches up that way, and whatnot. Some really cool virtuals and whatnot, and it's just a cool. Oklahoma City is a neat place to visit. So I wholeheartedly agree. Wait, not that one. This one. HQ should do GC pizza. I've got to find me one of those dill pickle pizza places that has the dill pickle pizza on the menu. I've been looking, haven't found one yet. Not near me, but
there's one in New Braunfels or Bernie, not too far from me.
Yeah, me and the Pizza Ninja were discussing that one night, and so
You can keep the pickle beer though. I've had 2 of them, and yeah.
I saw some dill pickle moonshine at the adult beverage store the other day. Half tempted to get it and make like a pickle snow cone with it. We'll see. All right. Well, New Year means New Year's resolutions. Tom, you got a New Year's geocaching resolution or two that you're aiming for, that you're trying to hit?
All right, you got to remind me. Let's see. I need a few more caches in Oklahoma to have 100 in Oklahoma.
Right.
And even less to have 100 in Kansas. So maybe I can do that on the same trip, just to see how busy we get. Should be knocking out Alaska this year. And maybe the other 50th state the year after that. Dang, there was something else I told you too. Oh, if I can sneak it in, weekend trip to Minnesota to get 1 cache up there. Just 1.
And what's so special about that 1 cache up there?
It's got an attribute that no longer exists anywhere else. It was only used for a couple events, and then it got changed to thorns. The cactus.
It is
Cactus.
The cacti present attribute.
I got to have that one.
There are what? 2 caches worldwide with it? 1?
No, just 1.
Is it just the 1 now?
It's just the 1.
Yeah. Yeah, just the 1, the cacti present. So.
And Minnesota of all places. I'm in the land of cactus down here. So are you. Seems like either one of us should have.
Right.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So let's see. I've got a couple. One of mine is to finish the state county challenges for states that I currently have more than 50% of the counties done in those states. And so that'll be Washington, Oregon, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, and Nevada. So hopefully I can finish those states out. I would like to attend a mega or a giga event in Europe this year. So we're trying to plan that. And then this is the year that I want to try to get 5 continents, that I want to geocache on 5 continents while during the calendar year. I already have one, right? Like I got the souvenir for 2024. Welcome to 2024 yesterday on the 1st. So, and then I'll get Asia here in a couple of weeks because I am flying to Japan to visit my son, who's stationed over there outside of Tokyo. So that'll get 2 of them done. So if I can get those 2, then hopefully I can try and knock out Europe and Asia, or Europe and Africa on the same trip if I can get to North Africa. And then we'll see if I can get back to South America. I already got about a dozen caches in Colombia, but try to get down there and finish and find the 8 cache in Brazil. So that's the goal. 5 continents in a year. We'll see how my frequent flyer miles go. So we hope everybody else has got big plans for your geocaching in 2024. And we hope that those involve some puzzle caches. But tonight's show is not going to be about trying to find or help you solve a type of puzzle cache. This is our things that just grind our gears, right? Like,
yeah. Well, you didn't even put anything on the list. You just left it all to me to just.
I have it.
I think you're just going to sit back and drink and watch me blow a gasket.
Oh, find that dill pickle moonshine. Oh, but we do have right now. We've got 7 things on the list. I bet you I can come up with 3 before the halfway mark, so we can get to 10. So we're glad that everybody has made it in the chat room. It is boiling up. It's all because of your cacti. Your cacti present attribute. So, all right, things we hate about puzzles. Here's Tom's take at this.
GC684. I got that right. Oh, they were making comments that I got my GC thing mixed up, but no. Ice Age Vista and up there in it is Minnesota, right? Wisconsin. Ice Age Vista in Wisconsin, GC684.
All
All right.
So the state's off by 1, but
yeah, it's north of Dallas. That's all I need to know.
As a Chicago Bears fan, I'll tell you that there is nothing good comes out of Wisconsin. Nothing.
Not even a road. It's like the joke about Houston. The best thing to come out of Houston's I-10.
That's because it going one way or the other.
One way or the other, it don't matter. Just as long as you're getting out of Houston.
So
sorry, Dave, but
that's right. Oh, all right. So let's start off your list. Number one.
I know it's not exactly a puzzle, but it is a puzzle, sort of. Reverse Where I Goes. I loved them when they first came out. They were great. It's like something new and different. It's like playing Battleship. If you're really good, you can figure out where the cache is going to be with just 2 presses, and then the third one puts you right on where it's at. I mean, that's if you're lucky. Because if you do 2 points, you got 2 intersecting circles. It's either one end or the other. And if the one end's in a place there can't be a cache, it's in the other.
Right.
But then if you do 3, then you ought to be able to triangulate that pretty easy and get in the ballpark. And yeah. So I loved them. But then they were everywhere. Everybody, it was like, I can finally do a Where I Go. I can get that little Where I Go thing on my icon, whatever. And so they were everywhere.
And I'll tell you that outside of Yuma, there is a huge geo art out of Reverse Where I Goes. And 100% concur with that everywhere.
Well, I can understand making an art with one. That's that'd be all right. But then they died because people figured out how to take the 3 6-digit codes and turn that into the coordinates. And yeah, there's a bunch of apps that'll figure that out for you. So they died.
Yeah.
So that to me just kind of sucks. I had a Reverse Where I Go. That was my first one. My first Where I Go that I put out was a Reverse Where I Go, and it's gone because private property signs came up and I had to get rid of it. So
no,
that sucks too. And somebody buys you the place where your cache is and ruins it for you. So number 2 on my list, get riled up there. Number 2 is Forward Where I Goes.
Forward Where I Goes.
Which happens to be the name of my only surviving Where I Go right now is EWB's Forward Where I Go. I had a reverse, so I now had a forward. Well, the first thing I don't like about them is you never know how long it's going to take unless they give you a clue. The one I have out takes you all of about 30 seconds to get to the coordinates and another 2 minutes to find the cache. It's easy.
Okay.
And I only have that because Jesse showed us how he walked us through making a cache on one of the shows years and years ago.
Yeah.
So the other problem with Where It Goes is they're too dead burn hard to make.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you that. It there's a there is a steep learning curve with the cartridge builders. You know, I've got a couple of where I goes, and I've helped a couple of other people build some, and I will tell you that if you don't understand the whole language and process of building one, it can be a steep learning curve. Mine that I have are a chicken, a fox, and a grain where I go cartridge. So if you remember the riddle from elementary school where you had a puzzle and you had to get a chicken, a fox, and grain all across a bridge, well, guess what? The where I go that I made puts that to real life, and you are the person going across a bridge to get a chicken, a fox, and some grain from one side of a bridge to another. So you know that you're going to go back and forth across a bridge a couple of times. And the bridges that I have picked, I think I only have one still surviving that's up in Wyoming. But I didn't pick extremely long bridges. So if you have a long bridge, you're walking back and forth across that for a while. But with mine, you roughly know it takes you about 10 minutes to get through it, and a couple of trips back and forth across a bridge. But I do agree.
You can't do it in one.
No. In fact, I have it.
You tape the chicken to a stick. You take the stick to the fox's head, and you put the grain on the fox's back, and you kick him in the butt and point him in the right direction and go.
Oh, no. In fact, I've got mine built to where even if you do it out of order, the cartridge, as soon as you get to one of the landing points, the cartridge will tell you that you failed and you have to restart it. So it's I got some help with it from Houston Control down when GeoCoin Fest was in Houston. I did one of his that was a chicken, fox, and grain, and he sent me the code for it, and I've gone in and kind of tweaked a few things for it. But I agree. And then the other side to that is once you get a completion code at the end, sometimes the completion codes don't actually unlock the deal on the Where I Go website to tell you that you actually completed it. So, it's a booger sometimes. So I give you this.
Okay, so then that should be somebody else's beef. It's not mine, but because I don't care. But right. I get the completion codes. I never enter them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You still get credit on the geocaching website. You just don't get credit for it on the Where I Go website. And it's all owned by Groundspeak. So
yeah,
yeah.
I just want the experience.
Yeah.
So for building them, since you built them, and we know Jesse builds them, Jesse will help people out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you just take the idea on a piece of paper, or does it help if somebody draws out a flow chart how it should work?
Flow chart definitely is the way, and it needs to be. It doesn't have to be, but flow chart to a certain spot, and then whatever you have to do at a certain spot, and then flow chart down to here. And it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. You can have it branch out and do multiple things all at the same time. That can get confusing and can lead people in, especially if you end up one way and you end up in a dead end. Then you have to go all the way back to a certain spot. Cachers don't always like that. And I've seen some of them get super poor logs and a lot of hate online or in local caching communities because of it. But definitely if you can flow chart it, this question, answer A, B, or C, here, question, answer A, B, or C, or you have defined tasks like, pick up the chicken and walk it to the other and drop the chicken, and then pick up the fox and carry the fox back to the other side and drop it, right? Like those where you have defined tasks are, the easier ones to create, but definitely flow charting it. If you can flow chart it on paper, then even if you don't know how to build the Where I Go cartridge, if you can explain that stuff and share that flow chart, somebody who knows the Lua code and knows how to write the Where I Go cartridges can help you write it. And then once you get it written, at least in the player that me and Jesse use, it has an emulator, so then you can then test it and move your little character back and forth around the map and test whether or not it's the actual code that you wrote actually will let you play all the way to the end. And
You
so
said-
then
You said that's Lua code?
yeah.
Well, now
LUA.
that makes sense, because that kind of implies that it's alien code coming from that Amua thing.
That's right.
Oh,
yeah.
three bad jokes all night.
That's right. But Jesse will, and I have and will as well. If you've got an idea and know, generally what you want to do with it, but need some help, like we're here to help you try and make a cache, just like this show, right? Like we're here to help you create puzzle caches and get them out there. So, all right. So what do you got for number 3?
Jigsaw puzzles. I loved them when they first came out. Loved them.
The jiggities.
Yeah. And now I don't know if it's this way everywhere. In my area, there's one person putting out 1 billion of them. And then there's a bunch of other people jumping on that boat. And it's like, no, there's too dang many.
I think that in that, right, they're super easy to make. You can make them super hard. There's not a.
Oh, we're going there.
Let's see. I guess I need to read your notes before I say anything more. They don't. I will tell you. How do I want to put this and put it nicely? I'm not going to put it nicely. You don't have to have a whole lot of stuff going on upstairs to create these and make them, whatever, a 1,000 piece puzzle and make them hard, right? And whatnot. The thing that I liked about it is I had a plug-in for Chrome that would automatically solve the jiggity puzzles. And that went on. I mean, I solved several GeoArts in Thailand that way. And then the jiggity puzzle creators came in and made a fix so that it would automatically solve it. But then at the end, instead of giving you the finish screen, would give you it appears that you may be cheating thing. And so if I open it and find that it's a jiggity jigsaw puzzle one, I'll go through the list and see if I've got somebody I know who's solved it, and then send them a note saying, hey, what's the final coordinates to this? Well, I'm not going to do them. No, unless the Chrome plugin starts working again where I can just automatically solve it. Yeah, I'm not going to spend my time sitting here doing the same, 150 piece puzzle, for the next 25 geocaches because, whatever, it's a GeoArt. Now,
I will give the person that's in my area credit that they are putting out every puzzle's different and they're interesting pictures. I will give that. It's just that there's 1 million of them. And some of them goes on to my next thing. Some have way too many pieces.
No.
My limit's 300. I prefer the about 200 is my range. I don't want the 20 piece you're done in 10 seconds thing. I want to have some fun doing it. Kill some time. I mean, if I'm sitting there doing jigsaw puzzles, it's because I've got nothing else to do, or it's like tonight's weather. It's cold and rainy here, and if it was like this during the day, I wouldn't be out doing nothing.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm with you. For me to do a jiggity now, it has to have single digits for the puzzle pieces. I've probably got 1,000 geocaches in Thailand solved. If I ever am that hard up to go and get some jiggity puzzle caches, smiley faces for them, I'll just book a ticket to Thailand, and go do that. But I'm with you. Like, those people who have like 500 or 600 piece puzzles, like, and like this all black.
Oh, he's reading the show notes.
Oh, yeah. So that brings us to point number C of your jiggities, which is
some are stupid. Let's make a jigsaw. I wrote out of a white box. Somebody, it just said all black, but yeah. I was like, how about let's just put the CO on the ignore list? So this whole show, I will jump in right at this whole show tonight was, I blew a gasket in a week of Thanksgiving. I spent it with D and David, and David brings up a cache in the Denton area. It's a 500 piece puzzle thing. And I'm like, dude, don't do it. It's going to take you a month of Sundays. But he spent a week working on it and got it down to the last, I think 100 pieces. So I thought, all right, you got it down to that. I'll finish it for you. So I knocked it out. And what was the thing? It was a doorway. And he changed the color of the door. And I'll just say because we're gonna that's part of the next thing. We'll just leave that story right there. We got that one solved. And then the next one he goes to another 500 piece thing by the same idiot. Did I say idiot? I'm sorry.
The same CO.
The same CO who is a friend of mine, but I'm calling him an idiot at this point because that's the nicest thing I can say on a family show. Yeah, it was like a black and white checkerboard thing, 500 pieces. I'm like, I just told Dave, you're on your own, dude. I'm going home. I don't even want to look for it. So the next thing on the list is certitude. And I don't have a problem with certitude itself. I like certitude.
Right. There are lots of ways that you can use certitude in a positive way.
Yes. My problem is the COs that are using it. Let's make an easily answerable question that has 47 ways to answer the question.
Oh, or we're going to use the answer is going to be color, but it's going to be spelled the Canadian or European way with a U in it.
Oh, you went easy there. You can get that knocked out into the George Patton. Is it George Patton? Is it General George Patton?
Oh.
Do you spell out General?
Are there space? Are you going to use his middle initial?
A middle initial or middle name?
Right.
Maybe it was earlier in his career and he's like Lieutenant Colonel. Do you put LT? Do you spell out Lieutenant? Do you spell does Lut or what?
Is he LTC? Right. No, I get it. I'm with you. And some of that was a problem that people had the same problem with Adventure Labs.
Yes.
In the very beginning. And so in that, right, like Groundspeak took it upon themselves to where punctuation doesn't matter. Capital letters didn't matter. Spaces didn't matter, right? The people up there that communicate with the frog had fixed that issue. Now they have no control over Certitude because it's an independently owned website outside of Groundspeak. But I wish that we could do. I wish that we could get a fix for that, similar to what, because then that would alleviate some issues, right? But I agree with you that if you're going to create a puzzle cache that then relies on the certitude checker to give you the correct final answer, then you should do some forward thinking in this whole process to this is how I want the answer spelled out, and if it's fuzzy or if it's one of those things where there may be, hey, there's another section on the cache page where you can lend a helping hand to people trying to solve your puzzle cache, which brings us to your next point on the list.
Oh, I'm waiting for somebody in the chat room. He's got a point, but if he wears a cap, nobody will notice. Hints. No hints needed. Well, I'm down here looking for one, so I believe there is.
Right. Oh, I'm with you 100%. Nothing grinds my gears more than, sitting here looking at some of this and like, no hint needed, but it's a difficulty 5 puzzle. And you're like, no, there definitely is room for a hint in all of this. And so that's one of those things that that space is there for a reason. It is there for a reason, right?
I try to give some kind of hint in my puzzles to point you in the right direction. It might be in the, oh yeah, Keith's got it right there. The hint is in the name. Well, yeah, but what if you're using some weird word for a name? Now I got to go look it up in the dictionary, and I guess that's a learning thing. But
so I'll tell you that I've been looking at these at a couple of puzzles outside of where my son is stationed in Japan, and a couple of them I've opened them up, and in Japan they have these, like, they have a person who created like these 47 different logic puzzle styles. And so they give you the name of it, but they don't tell you what exact type is, because they all have rules. And I don't know what the rules are because I'm an American and we don't have that crazy stuff here. So I'm trying to figure out which one of these 47 different puzzle types is the one that I'm looking for, so that I at least can go and read the rules to the puzzle, so that then I know how to solve it. Right. But I have spent a good amount of time over the weekend looking at those 47 different types, and then come to realize that, oh, well, the puzzle that's in this cache page is not on this list of 47 puzzle types. And so then I found another list that said, oh, well, there are like 60 types of puzzles created by this guy. Long story short, I still haven't figured out how to solve it yet, but I'm trying to find the rules for it. And when I do, when I do, I'm gonna leave such a big hint in my found it log, assuming I can find it when I go to Japan. But yeah, no hint needed. No, especially if it is a harder, yeah.
Is Japan where all the they got all the artistic manholes? I'm kind of thinking that is.
I don't know.
Well, now
I'm
you have
gonna
something.
look now.
You have something to look for. All right, Dave. What do you mean New Mexican style puzzle versus Texan puzzle? I know the difference in the enchiladas. I
Yeah, I was
don't know
gonna
the
say.
difference in the puzzles.
Yeah, the New Mexico ones are flat with a fried egg on top.
Yeah, some assembly required. No assembly required. Just throw it all in the pan, throw an egg on it, and throw it in the oven.
All right, so I'm going to ask, what is this B you have? Is this like?
Yeah, where they give you a hint, the hint itself is a puzzle. It's like,
yeah,
you
outside
gotta figure
of
out what you got to figure out what the crud the hint means.
Yeah, like outside of the whole Rot 13, it's encoded, but you can push the button to uncode it. But when you uncode it and it still looks like gibberish, like,
well,
you're
even
not
that too.
You're not helping me out here, cache owner. We want these puzzles to be solvable.
Yeah, I might want to strain your brain a bit, but I want you to be able to solve it.
Yeah. So, hey, give me a solid, at least point me in the general right direction. It can still have a couple of, little goat trails that lead off to this way or that way. But, I mean, don't quote Spock, right? And have a picture of that. And then it be a Star Wars puzzle, right? Be like, yes, it's the same genre, space, but Star Wars and Star Trek, not the same thing. And if you send me down one rabbit hole, at least have the courtesy to send me down towards the right of, goat trails and rabbit holes. It doesn't all, make me work for it. I'm okay with that. But I'm with you. Like, don't give me a hint that says, oh, no hint needed, or give me a cryptic hint that, like, I couldn't even figure out, like, that doesn't help me get any closer to solving the puzzle.
Yeah.
I found a couple like that in Hawaii where the hint was, and I was sitting there I was like, and it had to be regional. It had to be regional where the hint was, and I was like, does this got something to do with, Hawaiian, it's Hawaiian lore or Hawaiian history, or, that I'm just not understanding. And it didn't help me any, it's like, is this some like Minahui legend of the little people on Hawaiian islands that I don't know about because I'm from the mainland? Be like, help me out here. So yeah, I get it.
You just brought up something else for me. I added a C to that.
Oh, I see that.
Typical wherever you're at hide. And the place that immediately came to mind here was Florida. Typical Florida hide. Well, I'm not from Florida. What the hell is a Florida hide? I don't know.
I'm telling you, when we went down there for Coin Fest, and I was like, me and Laura were looking at that, and of course, when we're looking for one that says typical Florida hide, we're in the middle of like this palm tree, forest, and I'm like, well, which palm frond am I gonna, like, I was doing obscene things to some palm trees. Thankfully, I was close to Daytona Beach, and nobody nobody cared because I had a full bathing suit on.
I was about that. Did you get a calendar picture of that? Ooh,
What?
baby.
What calendar pictures in Hawaii, in Florida?
Yeah. With a palm tree.
Oh, no. But yeah, I mean, like we did some and it took us a while to figure out what that meant, what a typical Florida hide was.
I thought that meant they duct tape it to an alligator's tail.
Right? Like we've had the same thing in Arizona. Depending on where you're at, people will be like, "Oh, it's a typical Arizona hide," which usually means that it's zip tied or tethered to a Palo Verde tree. And so.
See, and I wouldn't have guessed that. I thought it'd be by a cactus or under a pile of rocks.
No, most of them, if they sit there and talk about it being like a typical Arizona hide, it's going to be off the ground because during monsoons, anything that's on the ground washes away. And COs don't want to have to go out there, and so they zip tie it or wire tie it to a Palo Verde tree. As good as anywhere else.
And that's the tree that everything on it's green.
Yeah, like well, except for the flowers. The flowers are yellow, but
yeah,
the branches, all of the bark, it's all a light yellowishy green color. The whole tree is a yellowishy green color, and then it has really bright and annoying yellow flowers that cover your. It's like living in East Texas with the pine needle, with the pine pollen again. So. Yeah.
Ooh, finance and whatever. Ooh, no.
Okay, so I don't want to say. Okay, well, I'm going to let you explain this next one because I kind of like this next one, but at the same, I'm going to give you a little rope, wrapped around this tall tree branch, and see what you do with it. So,
do I need to get my big stick ready for you? Red herrings. Now I like a good red herring. I mean, give me something that leads down a different track, but then make it obvious that you're down the wrong track after a while.
I'm with you there.
I said even the red herring should give some sort of point in the right direction, but even if it eliminates something, that's a point in the right direction to me. But don't put in a red herring just to tick people off. That's just there for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah. And I'll give you that. Like if I show up somewhere and I find 6 containers and they all have a piece of paper in it that says "not the cash, keep looking," 5 of those 6 are probably going to be disappearing. I ain't saying that I have done that in the past, but
I can't believe you would do such a thing.
I'm on board for 1 or 2, but when I find, well, there you go. Just sign the red herring. I mean, you could like, hey, I found a piece of paper inside of a container. That was it. It's done. I'm with you, Dave. I can. It's a couple of these I have done like that. I got a first to find on a geocache in, where was I at? In Grand Junction, Colorado, outside of the golf course, and it was called 5 Errant Shots. And we went there and looked at it, and we found a golf ball, and it had a number 2 written on it. And then, the more me and Laura looked, the more people started showing up. And so somebody found one with a 1 and somebody found one with a 2. There was a long string of DNFs. And so we're like, we'll go add to it. And people had come and left. And, but we found a golf ball with a 1, a golf ball with a 2, a golf ball with a 3 written on it, a golf ball with a 4 written on it. You know, hoping that, and it took me a minute, but once we figured out where they were, there was a pattern that the golf balls made. And if you just, like one was started up high and then down low, and then the next one was up high and then down low. And so then if you went to that 5th spot, the next spot in the pattern, you actually found the fifth errant shot. You know, but the golf balls were spaced out enough, and it was on a hill going down, and you were on the side of it. And so you didn't actually know if the golf ball had rolled down the hill or if the person put it back where it was supposed to go. And it was just by luck that we actually found the 5th errant shot. You know, so those red herrings actually were the clue that led you to the right spot. And I think that's what you're talking about, right? Like a good red herring or something that then leads you where you need to go. The other one that I found that I think was a cache out in East Texas, and I think it was placed by 98X. But you get there, and you're going down this trail through a park, and then you get to where ground zero is, and you look, and you could see a nail up, like buried in a piece of the dead tree, where a tree branch had been cut off, and there was an open hole, and a hollow, you know, tree core was all hollow. And you see this piece of fishing line going down in there, and you're like, oh yeah. And so you get to pulling this fishing line out, and he's probably got 80 feet of fishing line. Right. And every so many feet, you'll find a little lead weight crimped on the fishing line to keep it down in the hole. Right. And then you're sitting there pulling this fishing line. At the very end of it, you pull it out, and he's got a little red fish, plastic fish.
A red herring.
At the end of that fishing line. And I was like, you've got to be, no, you know, and of course, but it's a pretty big tree. And if you go around the back side of it, on the opposite side of the tree from where the trail is, which is on the back side of the tree from where the hole is, you'll find a fake rock on the ground at the base of the tree, tucked up in the roots.
I love that.
But you get there and you see this like nail and fishing line, and you're like, oh yeah. And you get to pull in, you're like, oh, lead weight. Oh, lead weight. And then this plastic red fish comes out. Let me tell you. And then you got to fish all that. Thankfully, you get enough of that line in there, and the weight
pulls it all back.
Will pull it all back in, thankfully. But man, let me tell you, I was upset for a hot minute about that when I pulled that little plastic fish out of the end of that.
I know where the park is up there in Tatum. So could they hear you in town?
Oh, I'm sure somebody up there, you know, I'm sure that, you know, him or K13 or, you know, some of those guys up there could hear it. So, yeah, so I get it. I'm good for a good red herring as well.
Well, here, bring this cache up while you're talking. GCA 3ZT3.
Oh Lord, give me just a second, because I don't have anything. All right, send me that GC code again.
GC Alpha 3 Zulu Tango 3.
All right, word search.
Yeah.
All right.
Share that one. I couldn't share mine because mine's obviously got the stuff on it.
Coordinates.
Yeah, because it's mine. But
All right, there we go.
And I'll put the thing in the chat.
It's in this Bexar County,
Bexar
wherever
County.
that Bexar County is. Okay,
So-
so it says word search. But it's only been found 2 times.
Only 2 times.
All right.
How hard can a word search be?
I know, right?
Now
So this
read that.
geocache is most definitely not at the posted coordinates, but they're a good place to park and maybe even find this geocache, but not guaranteed. Here's a word search for you to do. It'll give you something to do while you figure out how to solve the puzzle. To make this word search a little different, I'm not giving you the words, but the definition of the words, and there are only 3 words to find. So you gave me the definition, but not the word I'm looking for. All
right. But stop right there for a second.
Okay.
3 words. Do you already got a clue in your head or an idea in your head which way you're going with this?
It's a what 3 words puzzle?
It's not. But yes, that's a red herring right there.
Okay. Dang it.
But let's see. Let's see if you can get the words.
A person who does not eat meat and sometimes other animal products, especially for moral, religious, or health reasons. So that would be a vegan.
Yeah, or not quite.
Or are you looking for a vegetarian?
Vegetarian.
Okay, because other animal products, like people who don't eat milk, cheese, or eggs, or vegans, not just vegetarians.
And look, I'll tell you right where that's at. Look on the 3rd row. That one sticks out to me.
Vegetarian, got you.
All right, let's see. What's the second one?
Any of several game birds, especially genus Gallinago, especially of marshy areas. Okay.
Did I write what word? I did not. Let's see.
That's going to be a snipe.
Is it a snipe? It might be. Oh, yeah, there's snipe. Okay.
Okay. And then of a manifestation or event attributed to some force beyond scientific understanding or the laws of nature. And then right underneath that, you have supernatural. Right there.
So you got 3 words there.
Vegetarian, snipe, and supernatural.
And if you put those in the what 3 words thing and get coordinates, guess where them coordinates go?
To the posted coordinates.
To the posted coordinates.
Okay.
Yeah, I had somebody chew me out about that. Well, that's why I told you it's not at the posted, and this is just give you something to do while you're figuring out what to do here.
Is this the one where you have to?
Yeah, you have to do something.
Do something with the whole puzzle.
Yeah, maybe, possibly.
Okay.
But hey, there you go. Yeah, and then and I probably put this out when I was upset about something else because read the rest of the thing there.
Yeah, you won't need a 40-foot pole, and you won't stare up in a tree for 3 days. Your neck won't hurt from looking. So it's not up in a tree.
It is not way up in a tree. And there, I tell you what kind of coordinates you're looking for, and yeah, good luck. And look, I even put a checker for you.
I like that, right? And I like this checker because there's no beating around the bush. Like you put the right numbers in, it'll
spit it right back out.
Yeah. The names you'll be calling me, one of them might be useful. That sounds like a decent hint.
Yeah, just start calling me names. One of them will be useful.
Well, I know what I call.
Yeah. Well, you might have the right one in there as a modifier to all those other things you're going to say.
But this being a family-friendly show,
You can say the modifier, but not the other things.
that's right. All right. Well, that looks like a good. We may have to do a show on word searches.
And that
later
one,
down the road.
that one kind of, it's only been found twice. Like they gave up. 2 people found it and then whoop, gave up. Of course, in my area, it's out in not too far from my house.
Yeah.
It's right there. That's in northern Selma. I'm in southern Selma.
So you act like Selma is that big.
It's 3 by 5.
What is the dividing line between North and South Selma?
Cibolo Creek.
Okay. All right. Then it probably is big enough to have a north and a south. If you could rattle it off that quickly.
And Selma actually sits in 3 counties.
Yeah. All right. So what is this last
one? We're going to leave the comments in the comment section.
That's right. All right. This last one is by far what I feel is the best one on this list. And that is?
People still don't look at puzzles because they're too hard. And I'm like, they're a lot harder to solve if you don't look at them.
Well, that's true. You got to look at it to be able to solve it, unless you're the reviewer and have like access to the final coordinates without having to solve the puzzle. We discourage that highly, reviewers. But it's a thing. I'm with you. There used to be a puzzle cache that was up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that was excerpt pages out of a repair manual for a washing machine. I think it was a washing machine. Maybe it was a dishwasher. Anyhow, it was little snippets out of this repair manual. It had never been found.
I remember that. I never looked for it, but I heard people talking about it.
And I went so far as I found 3 different copies of 3 different versions of a repair manual for this like GE washing machine or whatever it was, and whatnot. And Prime Reviewer had published it back in the day. And that was before there was a requirement to tell you how to solve it. Yeah. And I got several good sets of coordinates out of it from the 3 different repair manuals that weren't off by much, right? But they put it smack dab in, like one put it in like a pond at a park, and one put it like in the Trinity River, and then one put it like in the middle of whatever construction zone or something. Anyhow, it ended up getting archived because somebody went by there and posted a needs archived and said that they knew where the final location was, but the final location had been plowed over because of highway expansion. And then the cache ended up getting archived with nobody ever having found it. I have to go back through some chat history to find the GC code for it, because me and David Vickery were working on it. But let me tell you, that thing was a difficulty 5 puzzle.
So you've been snookered into that too. We always say, we pick on D and say it sucks to be D's friend, or Ryan. It sucks to be Ryan's friend.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it can suck to be David's friend too. Love him to death, but sometimes it sucks to be his friend.
It can be, because he's gonna call you and be like, "Hey, I'm not getting anywhere. Can you take a look at this?" Which is even funnier because he hasn't done it, but I ran into some other friends, now friends of ours, that will send me pictures of Ground Zero and a GC code, and I don't even have to know where they're at or what. They're going to send me pictures of an Earth cache location and the write-up for the Earth cache, and then say, hey, so this is what our best guess to these answers are. Can you look at them before we send them? And so I've done that several times for these friends of mine that have historically shied away from Earth caches because they're just people want too detailed of answers, or if you've ever gone to Yellowstone, then you totally understand what we're talking about. There's a couple of COs for caches in Yellowstone, Earth caches there, that want a college dissertation on it and whatnot. So when I lived outside of the East Gate of Yellowstone, I've found almost all of the Earth caches in the park, and got a first to find on an Earth cache in the park. But it's some of them were very, very particular about the answers, and so a lot of people like puzzles, don't understand them, would shy away from them. They had a bad interaction at some point in time and whatnot. So they send me pictures of everything, or the signs at Ground Zero and the GC code, and say, hey, help me out with this. And so I've solved geocaches from, all over, like mainland Europe. And they are a couple of retired military folk and travel far and wide. But they've sent me stuff from France and from Spain and from Hawaii and, Argentina. And they're like, hey, this is what I was like, yeah, it sounds good. Go with it. Some of them in the beginning, like I wrote out what all the answers were based on what I saw in their pictures. I was like, I should be getting credit for this. Like, I should log this too. Like my one random find in Argentina that's up in the desert somewhere, But yeah, so that goes back to your B bullet for this is get a friend and get some help on solving some of these.
Do what everybody on the show here is doing tonight. They're hanging out with friends, and we learn how to solve puzzles.
That's it. So
right. You said you were going to come up with 3.
I didn't. I'm not going to lie. I didn't.
Well, you did help me come up with 1 extra, so I'll give you credit for at least one of them.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to be able to log into StreamYard and start the show and do all of the other stuff. It's
definitely the other stuff, because I don't know how to do the other stuff.
Well, and I'm not real great at it. Thankfully, Pizza Ninja runs a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So whether you know it or not, Pizza Ninja is a huge help to both me and Tom and the show, even though you never see him. We absolutely could not do, or some of the stuff wouldn't end up where it's supposed to without him. So.
I definitely couldn't do it. At least not now, anyway. Don't have a clue.
Yeah. Yes, Jen, I saw the Flip Dizzy stuff. We're going to try to get some of that worked into a upcoming show, but I did see it, so thank you. He is for sure the real MVP out of all of this. So there you have it.
And Scouter74, you can contact either one of us for puzzle help.
Yeah,
we may not solve it for you, but we'll try it. We'll take a look at it.
Yeah, I mean, and if all else fails, you send it to me, and I can't do it, I'm going to send it to Tom. So yeah, I mean, we're all about trying to help people solve puzzles, and then figure out how to work them, and then put new puzzles out in your local caching area. So I can tell you that I've enjoyed solving some of these ones outside of Yokosuka, Japan, where my son is stationed in the Navy. And I'm going to be putting some similar to this. If I ever solve the logic puzzles, right on. I'm going to post something like that. But there are a couple that I've solved that I was like, oh, that was sneaky. That I'm probably going to post here, create new puzzles here in southern Utah for it. So
somebody posted up earlier, Japan is a place with the manhole covers, and there's path tags for them too.
Wait, what? Path tags? Well, they don't have to go so far to have them shipped from China.
But you got to have the manhole cover to copy, so they have the.
That's right. I'll have to look for that while I'm there. We plan on spending some time out where he's stationed, and I plan on, I've never been on a Navy base, so I've been on an Air Force base, and I've been on a Navy base. I've been on a Marine Corps base. That's kind of the same thing.
Whoa.
The Secretary of the Navy signs their paychecks.
I was saying, but wouldn't a Marine Corps base have all the pages from the coloring books posted up?
That there were plenty of crayon boxes at the necks. Plenty of crayon boxes.
and probably with all the greens gone, because people eat. I hear the greens are
their
best
favorite
flavor.
color. That's right. So but we're gonna do that.
My stepdaughter's boyfriend is in the Marines. I got him when I first met him, I got him a coloring book, coin and hat pin.
Right.
And the wife for Christmas this year got him a coloring book and I forget 200 color crayon kit thing.
Yeah.
He was all kind of happy.
Oh yeah. I spent plenty of time, with those guys. We were on a Marine Corps air base when one of my deployments to the Middle East. So there was a Marine Corps air squadron that ran the base when we first got there. But yeah, bunch of cool people. Other service branches get to pick on them. But yeah, so I'll look. I'm gonna have to look. I'll take pictures. I will report back next month in the next show. Speaking of next month's show, let's see if I can get one of these. There we go.
What are we going to do next month?
It's going to be the 6th of February. And I don't know what we'll do. It'll be a surprise, but we'll have something. We'll get it announced here soon. We'll send all of the information to Pizza Ninja. So stay tuned to all of the social medias. Besides helping us technology challenged individuals make this thing look like we know what we're doing. Yeah. He also does all of the publicity for the shows and whatnot. And so we really appreciate him and all of the stuff that even if Gary doesn't, Tom and I do. So
we do. We'll buy you pizza in Oklahoma.
That's right. See if Gary does that.
Yeah.
So 6th of February, we'll have a show. Between now and then, we will figure out what it's going to be. And then we'll get some
I'm sorry. Surprise puzzle talk doesn't work for me because my definition of a surprise is a fart with a lump in it.
That's right. So, yeah. So, all right. So February 6th, we'll get back with a show. We'll have something done up and new. And until then, guys, get outside, go geocaching, find you a puzzle cache, and
meet a goal.
that's right. If you have a New Year's resolution for geocaching, get out there and start working towards that. So,
and if you don't have one, I'll give you one right now. Come meet us at Cache Fest.
Oh, he threw the gauntlet down.
I did.
All right, guys. Y'all be safe, be fun, have fun. Get out there, get outside, go geocaching. We'll see you guys next month.
See ya.